I'm Joshsean Garricks. I'm a placement student, so I'm in between year 2 and 3. I'm doing marketing communications and Bournemouth Uni.
Why did you choose your course?
It was back in sixth form. I was doing business management and we just studying marketing, and I just had an interest of it since then.
You're now 2 years into your course. What do
Yeah.
you think of your course so far?
I think it's really good. Yeah, it's given me a lot of insight that I wouldn't have thought of probably if I did my own independent research. And I'm enjoying it at the moment. Really enjoying placement. It's something different and new. So yeah, I'm having a good time.
And when you're in sixth form looking at your course, now you've 2 years into your course, did it reach your expectations or did it exceed them or did you underperform?
I think, yeah, it reached my expectations. Yeah, I kind of didn't know what to expect, but I knew I wanted to do marketing communications, and yeah, I'm quite pleased that I did instead of just normal marketing as well.
Okay. If you're now going to the university, which is Bournemouth University, what are the best and worst things about studying at Bournemouth University? Starting off with the worst.
It's not really that much of a negative, but I would like to. I've been to other like campus unis like Bristol, been to Bristol campus before. Probably just having more accommodations on campus, I feel like is more of a collective. Like we're close in Lansdowne, but I feel like on the campus it's more like community.
I have more choice for accommodation around the actual uni.
Yeah.
Okay. And the best things?
Probably social life. Obviously, the beach is good. The campus is actually quite good itself, considering what I just said. But yeah, the facilities are quite good. There's a lot to do. There's a whole media building, which is pretty good, and that's put it to use.
Although you did say you do live a bit far from the university, has it affected your studies in any way?
No, I've always been able to get to university fine. There's a bus that literally travels every probably half an hour.
Well, while staying at university, where did you stay in your first year?
So I stayed at Dorchester House, which is a minute from where I am now.
And what is it like living at Dorchester House in your first year?
I think it was pretty good, yeah. So accommodation that's kind of in the middle, let's say. It's not too rough, but it's not like fancy and bougie really. So you get the best of both worlds there. And it's quite spacious compared to like the higher luxury flats.
And your second year?
I stayed in a house in Witon, which is near the.
And what was that like going from Dorchester House to a house in Witon?
It's definitely different, but I think you just feel a lot more homely. Like you don't have the doors that lock automatically, and it's just more of like a homely vibe.
And what would you say was your biggest difficulty when switching?
Probably just where you are in accommodation, you're quite like close to the nightlife, so kind of just making your way back and the expense with that.
So it's kind of now you're a bit away, but with Witon, it's a bit further away from where you would usually be, closer to the town where you have like nightlife and go out a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we now go into the university area, could you tell us about the Bournemouth area as what it's like to live there as a student?
I think it's pretty good. There's a lot to do considering if you actually get up and go out, especially in the summer, it's quite good. You got the beach, and so in Freshers is really good to go down there and socialise. Christmas is really good too. Got the whole Christmas market. I like ice skating, so there's a nice ice skating rink down there. And there's lots of little things to do. You've just got to go out and find them really.
And you briefly talked about it, but what is the Bournemouth nightlife like?
I think it's quite good personally. Like, I never really knew what to expect from clubbing, especially with the whole COVID thing. So that was delayed even further. But I really like the Bournemouth nightlife. It's got something for everyone, which is good.
And what about getting your everyday groceries? So like your shopping just for your eating standards, your everyday living, like your toilet paper, washing up liquid. What's that like as a student?
Where I am now is pretty good as Asda, literally across the road. Last year when I was in the house, it was a tad more difficult, but you're literally like 15 minutes away from the high street and people were driving, so you can just drive to the grocery store and do one big shop for the week.
So it's easy access as a student to just get wherever you need.
Yeah, especially if you're living in accommodation, yeah.
If you were to go back and talk to yourself just before you came to university, what general advice would you give yourself?
Probably just be a bit more loose and free. Maybe like go out and do like activities rather than just go like out.
Could you expand on what you mean? Sorry.
So instead of just kind of going out on the weekends, maybe like go down to the arcade, go down to mini golf, cinema, just like normal activities, not just straight nightlife.
So explore like the town and what it has to offer other than the nightlife.
Yeah.
What advice would you give yourself regarding your course?
Probably in first year, put my head down a bit more, but it's also part of the university experience to just kind of find your balance between social and studies.
And when you look back at yourself when you're studying your first year, what would you say the biggest difficulty was about finding that balance? Was it time? Was it not knowing how to exactly plan that? Or was it just with so many options being out there trying to mitigate doing everything while also studying?
Yeah, I think it's probably a lot more difficult in first year where you've kind of just got this, like you're living on your own. You've not got someone like on your back, let's say, like your parents go and study. So it's kind of just taking it into your own and sort of pushing yourself to do it instead of getting distracted. I think that's one of the major difficulties. It's very easy to get distracted when you're with new people that you want them to like you, want to impress X, Y, Z. And also you have to be your biggest motivator at the end of the day.
Okay. And what advice would you give to students about to study at Bournemouth University?
I think just use everything it's got to offer. The campus is pretty good. If you, even in Lansdowne where most accommodations are, there's a building, you can do your assignments. It's just find a good balance. You don't have to be out every night. You can just go and study, get what you need to get done, and then reap the rewards and go out as a celebration for your good grades.
Okay. What was one thing you think you've done so well at university so far that you wouldn't change?
I think just keeping it real, to be fair. Like, a lot of people, I'd say, get kind of sucked into university life. Like, you're not, like, you don't know anyone here. So obviously some people are going to act up and be a bit strange, but just keeping like to yourself, keeping real, like finding good, honest people, because you're here to study at the end of the day.
Okay. So while you were choosing to go to university, you did have the option to do an apprenticeship or go right into work. What path you to make the choice of university?
Mainly, I knew my mum wanted me to do it, but I think I just always like the thought of going to university.
So there's never any other option?
No, I briefly thought about taking a gap year, but I just wanted to get straight into uni, kind of not and pause.
And just out of curiosity, now that you're 2 years into your course, although you are enjoying it, do you think you would change the decision with the knowledge you have today, or do you think you would make the same choice?
I think I would make the same choice. The only decision I'd make is probably, do you take that gap year and still go to Bournemouth, just because of the whole COVID situation.
That makes sense. What was life like at Revolution Bar as bar staff?
It was okay. It was my first bar role, and I was 18. Yeah, it was good. It built me up confidence-wise, and it just allowed me to do something on the side whilst I'm at uni.
What was the most difficult task? What was the easiest task, the most difficult task while working there?
I think the easiest task was probably a day shift serving food. And then my most difficult task would have been hosting bottomless brunch for about 3-4 groups of people on my own.
And then what was it like managing that while studying? And even though you were studying your course, obviously, while working, did you find a balance, or was it something you struggled to kind of fit into your lifestyle as a student?
So with Revolution, I didn't start until I finished my last assignment. So I was just working in between submitting my last assignment and moving out of first year.
So would you say that would be the best option for a student, as they could dedicate more time to studying?
Yeah, so I think it's good. You're doing something, like you're keeping yourself busy and active, and you're making money.
Okay. What was life like at Tesco as a customer assistant?
Tesco was good. So Tesco I was doing while studying. So I was able to find a balance. They're very understanding. Most places are when you're a student, because you do have to put your education first at the end of the day. I was just saying, yeah, again, it just gave me people skills, and kind of I went around all different departments. So it just kind of showed me how to do different things that I can carry on.
And do you think the skills you learned from Tesco, although still benefited from just doing it as a side job?
100%, yeah. With the Tesco I was working at, it was quite big. So you handled all your own responsibilities and you don't really have someone watching over you, safeguarding you, which is kind of what a lot of people expect. It's kind of like a safety net, but it's good being able to basically manage yourself while working under someone.
So you said now that you're in your placement year and you're working. So what is life like at Woodstock Legal Services as a marketing assistant?
That's probably the highlight, to be fair. With this, I did find my placement quite late in October. A lot of people started from May to September, but I found my placement in October and then moved back down here. I think it's pretty good because it was a relatively small firm. So I'm the first person hired in a marketing role. So I get to do a bit more considering the size of the firm. So as my main role is marketing, but I've gone into business development and event organization / management, which has taught me a lot. And I'm grateful that I'm able to kind of swerve into different things in my role rather than stick in one lane.
And you said you were a bit late to the appointment. Was this for students who are looking for their placement year? Would you suggest them to start early, or how would you say that they could put themselves in the best position to get a placement year?
Start early, make sure your CV is sorted, get yourself into knowing how to write a good cover letter. I think that was my main struggle. I did avoid just, if there are applications that needed a cover letter, I would just actively avoid them until like I was looking a month in. All right, I got to sit down and kind of give a bit more time into job applications.
Do you think the person from when you walked into university on that first day to the person you are now, you've changed, like had growth as a person, or do you kind of think you're the same as you walked in?
I think I grew as a person, but I'm still the same deep down, good quality wise. Like I'm more disciplined. I know what I want. I have more drive, have more independence.
And you did talk about how people kind of lose that as they come to university, as they can change that. How did you manage to keep that integrity of who you are while also growing your things such as your discipline? So not changing your character, but changing the way you move and your thought process.
I think it's just, for me, it's orientated from home and my friends from home. I have people around me that kind of will put me in my place if they saw a different person when I come back to visit home. So it's kind of just having people that keep you grounded. And I guess now I don't really need that because I've learned so much, but I'm lucky that I did back then.
Okay. I've got a question for you. Very easy, basic, just honest your opinion. So far, in your opinion, do you think university is worth it?
Yeah. For me, you don't need it, but it's not just about getting a degree. Like you do the independence. It's just, I think it does change you quite a lot.
Okay. What do you mean by independence? Yeah, go on.
As in moving from home, or feeding yourself. That's a major thing. Like you haven't got your parents there to cook for you. You've just got to manage your bills. You've got to make sure everything's in order. So it's just making sure you're able to do that by yourself and not being like you have no one to depend on. By yourself. Like it's not like you're living with your parents still while at uni. If you move away, then yeah.
So in your opinion, do you think university is more than your degree then?
100%, yeah. I think it's kind of just a learning experience, really. Like, especially if you move away from home, you just learn a lot more. The only thing I think of really just change environment and pace, but I guess that does fall into independence. It's like you're taking on a new adventure, really. So I don't think it's actually that bad jumping out after a year of uni, because it's not going to really impact your life too much. And I think it still gives you a snippet of the value that you get if you'd be here for 3-4+ years. So I think it's fine to have that trial run and go through it one time.